Welcome to my National Podcast. Let's get into it. All right, today is a beautiful Tuesday episode, and I got something a little different for you guys. So today's thread is cosplayers. What's the creepiest thing that has happened to you at a convention? All right, let's see what these cosplayers are dealing at these sweaty conventions. I have to deal with my fair share of creepy guys trying to get upskirt pictures just like almost every other cosplayer. The difference is when I catch them doing it, I just pretend not to notice and let them continue to try to get detected or try not to get detected. Joke's on them when they upload these pictures later, all they'll get is frames full of penis. Yo! What? Okay. All right then. Cool. This dude is just like, yeah, I love cosplaying as girls, and he probably looks just like a girl too, and they're like, oh yeah, and they just see dick and balls. All right, man. Damn. Okay. Dressed as Temari from Naruto, not particularly revealing or anything, some dude comes up to me, tells me my costume is wrong and that Temari's shirt is cut lower, and before I can even react, sticks his fingers in the neckline of my shirt and drags it down to almost the bottom of my of my cleavage. Kid nearly lost his finger that day. Oh my God. Dude, keep your hands to yourself. Like, obviously she made the costume a little more comfortable. You know, like she's like, I'm not trying to have my tits all out. And this guy's just like, excuse me. That's not how it goes. Like, what the fuck, bro? God damn. Me and my girlfriend have cosplayed together, and she didn't get a single creepy comment or look while we were cosplaying until she posted a pic of her cosplay to Reddit. I believe she ended up deleting the post because of how bad it got. You bunch of creeps. What the hell? Okay. All right. I mean, dude, that's the internet. If I'm being honest with you, like, come on, man. You know, people, I mean, I guess they looked at it like, oh, well, since nobody said anything about it at the convention, they were like, I guess, you know, I could just post it online. There's nothing wrong with it, right? They were saying what they were really thinking over there, I guess. At an anime con, I help run and I'm sitting at the table in a food court while a fellow convention runner and a female friend is cosplaying as Sailor Mars. We were discussing creepy people at the cons. Then 2 minutes later, a guy comes up to the table and says, I love your costume. I've been fantasizing about you since I was 13.
Bruh.
At that time, I was so shocked that all I could do is facepalm. She took it in stride, but I still can't believe that someone would say that. Like, bro, this man practically walked up to you and was like, oh man, I've been beating my meat to that character since I was 13. Like, bruh, nobody needs to know that, man. Like, come on, dude. Like, they just have no semblance of social skills and they just say anything. Man, like, I know it's hard as hell for you cosplaying chicks out there, because these dudes just, they don't talk to people regularly, so they just sit there and they just say anything. Like, God. All right. Here's one that made me feel like a creep back around 2001 or so. I'm 6'1", 240 pound male, and I was also a terrible costumer, so I usually went for the comedy angle. For laughs, I decided to cosplay the least body appropriate character I could think of. As long as the character wasn't wearing anything revealing, my friend and I brainstormed and came up with a titular character from a Little Snow Fairy Sugar, a nauseating cute show for young children. I got a lot of laughs at OtakaCon. Even got catcalled on the street. I wasn't the first person to do a comedy crossplay, but this was before it was totally done to death by tons of people. Anyway, I was sitting there with some friends and a couple walked past us with their young daughter. The daughter stared at me wide-eyed and asked her parents something I could hear. She was confused and maybe a little upset. Her parents quickly walked the mildly traumatized girl away from me and comforted her by saying, "Don't worry, it's okay. That's not the real snow fairy Sugar. It's okay, it's okay." So yeah, I ruined a little piece of some girl's childhood. God, seeing this big ass buff dude in a girl costume, just like, it's that. That little girl is just scarred forever. She can never watch that TV show ever fucking again. Damn. All right. Well, I once met up with my girlfriend at OtakuCon, and I saw her before she saw me, so I went in for the hug. She swung for my face. Apparently, that had been happening a bunch. Oh, shit. So she's been just getting hugged by random motherfuckers, and out of nowhere, when you did it, she was just like, "Motherfucker, oh my God, I'm sorry." And he's like, "What's going on?" She's like, "I've been getting hugged all day." Like, what the fuck? Like, okay. Damn. I used to work with a dude who was obsessed with anime and would spend his free time hanging around the mall, drawing cute girls in compromising positions. He would even show them his sketch pad afterwards. I have no idea what his end game was with that. I also have no idea how he was never banned from the mall or charged with harassment. I mean, I guess he wasn't doing anything that wrong, I guess. I don't know. Like, he's over here drawing chicks, you know, in like sexual positions and shit. And they're like, did he think that was going to get a girl or something? You know, like, what was the point of doing that in public? You could just do that at home. You know, like, what was the point of doing it in public? They would, you know, a girl would see that and be like, "Oh my God, I'll do that for you," or something. Like, okay, I don't know. Some guys be having some weird concept of the thoughts they have. They're just like, you know what? Man, I'm really good at drawing like girls in sex positions. What if I did this in public? I might find a girl that actually likes this stuff. Yeah, oh, it makes amazing sense. And it's just like, no, you're just looked at as weird. You know? Many years ago, I went to a con dressed as Chi from Chobits. And my boyfriend at the time was Hideki. They are the main characters / love interest. The first day of the con, this strange teenage girl just glooming onto me and started following me everywhere. She wasn't even in costume. She kept going up to random other cosplayers and asking them to take pictures of just me and them, not her, just the cosplayers. This went on for well over an hour. She would just would not take a hint. Okay. If I recall, we finally got rid of her after making some excuses that we had some friends to meet. To this day, I'm pretty sure there is some creepy shrine of me in costume somewhere. Okay. I mean, or maybe she just really liked your, thing. She probably thought you were actually the character. I don't know. That's crazy to think that there's a shrine of you somewhere, okay, shit. So a couple years ago, my friend was at our local Comic-Con cosplaying as someone from Modako Magica. She was walking around when suddenly she felt someone grab her butt. She turned around to see a large hairy man behind her, and she said, "I'm 14," and he replied, "Yeah, I'm 40," and walked away. It was very odd. What? Like, bruh, this man was playing with fire. He was just like, "So what? I'm 40. Who cares?" Like, bro, a lot of people care. The law cares. Like, what the fuck are you doing, man? He's like, "So what, man? They do it in anime." So, like, okay, cool, man. Cool. Okay, so this was like 2010 or 11 at Anime Detour, Minnesota. It was my first convention and my first time cosplaying. I went as Genesis from Final Fantasy 12 Crisis Core and happened to run into a couple of girls dressed as Tifa and Genesis clone. So we stopped and talked because matching costumes and stuff. As we were talking, a big drunk neckbeard comes up to us dressed as Jeff Lebowski, complete with a the dude sign on his shirt. If you could figure it out casually as fuck, he stares hitting on Tifa. Trying to be nice, we told him we needed to get going because karaoke was starting soon. Turns out he loves karaoke. He took theater in high school. How did we find this out? After subtly aldling to it, he starts serenading her with Phantom of the Opera. Finally, I just said we were leaving and head back to our room for the night because he could try to follow us after us. A group of girls dressed as the cast of Sailor Moon walked by and he did the creepiest stock pivot I've ever seen. He followed after them, and I didn't see him the rest of the night. He was hanging out in the lobby the next morning, obviously hungover. Hey, I mean, what you gonna do, man? He was just trolling for booty, I guess. I made a rather elaborate Groot costume for Halloween this year. Spent about 2 weeks gluing and texturing tubes to make it all look like, make it all wood looking, and was ready to enter a costume contest. Halloween night, I eventually make it to this bar after standing around waiting for taxis for about an hour. I stroll up semi-frantically looking for somewhere to register for this contest when I get spotted by the crowd. 2 things I should mention. 1, I'm black, and 2, I live in China. Alright, he a nigga in China. This notice of my arrival turns the crowd pretty frantic because the movie had just come to theaters over there. Photos were fast and then constant. Started off rather normal, but then I started feeling hands everywhere. I'd be taking a picture with one person and have 5 hands on me with the mask on and had no peripheral vision, so things got super weird, feeling really fast. Feeling weird really fast. I figured the voting was all based on crowd favoritism. So I just sort of panicked under the mask and dealt with it. Contest happens, win $300, super stoked, attempt to leave, crowd of mostly Chinese people realizing that Groot is Groot and black, mob descends again. They're like, huh? What? Groot is a black? They're like, no way. Oh my God. They're like freaking out. They're like, holy shit. It was by far the largest amount of stranger groping I've ever had done to me. Far more than the old man who used to follow me around this grocery store and attempted to wipe the black off of me. What the fuck? He was just like, you dirty, I need to clean you. You're like, no, get away, dude. It's my skin. I swear, stop. Like, okay, shit, that's a little weird, but I mean, you a nigga in China, bro. What you expect? Like that over there, man, on that side of the world, they openly racist. They'll tell you to your face. They're just like, why are you so dark? What the fuck wrong with you? Why are you so dark? Who told you could be this dark? Like, goddamn, you got enough sun. Like, they get up in your ass over there, man. They don't give a fuck. Like, that whole racial sensitivity bullshit we do over here, they're like, man, fuck you. He blacker than the sun. He need to go somewhere with that. He got too much. Leave it for the rest of us. They don't give a fuck. They openly racist over there. Goddamn. I'm a dude, and I went to Boston Comic-Con last year dressed as a gender-bent Nurse Joy. I was trying to buy some magic cards, and a guy selling them cursed me out because I ruined every hentai for him, and he would never be able to fap to Nurse Joy again. Okay. Some people be just taking that shit too serious, bro. They're just like, oh, man. Damn it. Like, there's a female, this character. Damn, I can never fap to that character ever again and it's like, bro, nobody needed to know that. You know what I mean? Nobody. We didn't need to know any of that. Like, you could have kept that to yourself and everything would have been fine, my guy. Like, god damn, man. My girlfriend told me about the last convention she and her sister went to when they were 14 and 12 respectively. Her sister wanted a doll from this vendor at a con, and the vendor told her that he had bigger and better ones out in his car/van if she waited a few minutes. He'd take her out there and let her have one for free because he liked her. They went out together and they both got in his car and he tried to have sex with her. Not sure of details. Come on, man. Look, I get it. It's at a con and they're selling stuff and you're thinking everybody's just open to it. Like, come on, man. You got to understand the environment you're in, you know? And then the fact that, like, that was the most cliche come to my van, I got some candy shit ever. Like, how did you not realize, like, nah. If you got it in your van, you can go get it and bring it back here, motherfucker. What are we talking about? Like, come on, dude. Oh my God. That is ridiculous. They went out together, both, not sure of the details, but she avoided the potential grape and she ended up getting the doll. Her parents never found out. I mean, you probably should have went with your parents, if I'm being honest with you. God damn. They would have, you would have not been in a position like that. Like, no, thank you. You can go to your car and get it, you know. I'm not a cosplayer, but I am intrigued with it. But I used to be a manager at the Hilton in downtown Houston, and every year there were the host hotel for OniCon. One year was especially bad. Some of the attendees used their real swords to cut holes in the sofas in the common area as they actually shat in the holes. This is a 5-star hotel. Needless to say, that was their last year there. So, I mean, okay, I get it. They use real swords to cut the holes in the sofas and stuff. But they actually shit in the holes? Like, that actually happened? Okay. I mean, yeah, I can see why that was the last one, because what the fuck? That is crazy. All right. I went to an anime expo about 2 to 3 years ago, and it turns out this guy was walking around asking girls for hugs. He had a hidden GoPro taped to his chest, recording the girls' down shirt while they went to hug him. What? For what reason? You know what I mean? For what reason would you do that? Like, bro, I feel like some guys, they come up with these ideas and they think that the idea is just great and they just go for it. And then when it's like practiced in reality, you're like, what the fuck are you doing? That makes just no sense. And I'm sure half the footage was unusable and you could barely see anything. Like, bro, come on, man. All right. Whatever. Fucking A, man. I was wearing a Master Chief cosplay since it had no pockets and it was really hot. I kept a bottle of water within the codpiece. Suddenly, a girl runs up to me, reaches inside my codpiece, and takes my bottle of water. It happened so fast and suddenly that I was stunned for like 20 seconds. I guess she really wanted my crotch water. Like, girl, you know where that water's been, right? Like, that water been touching my dick for the last hour and a half. Oh my God, man. Oh God, it's funny. I once dressed as Wario at PAX Prime, and this guy dressed as Mario kept giving me dirty looks the whole time. Man, you should have fought him, bro. What you doing? You should have fought him. You guys would have had an awesome little character battle. What the hell? And that one wasn't really weird or anything, but hey, just a dude giving you a dirty look just because of your costume, you're just like, well, fuck you. If you're at a convention and notice someone being creeped on, female or male, help, approach and ask if everything's okay, blah, blah. Okay, I guess he's just giving a PSA. All right, cool. This is way less creepier than the other stories, but it was still uncomfortable. My boyfriend and our female friend dressed as Teemo back in November. Note, this was not a slutty Teemo costume. She had on a nude tube top and fuzzy scarf, and boyfriend did not wear a shirt but also had a scarf on. One of the security guys came and angrily told them to put on shirts or leave, both of them, because this is a convention for children. Never mind the 50 slutty Pikachu costumes we saw. Later, after going to Target and getting my boyfriend a nude color shirt, the guy followed us around while he was off duty. He stopped boyfriend once and yelled at him putting shirt on, and when we showed him the guy just kept on staring at him. I guess he thought he was going to randomly take the shirt back off. I don't know. It was so awkward. Bro, like, who cares? It's their costume. Nobody gives a shit, man. You're there to solve the real problems. You know what I mean? Like, this guy was probably so bored. He just was like, man, fuck it. I'm gonna stop somebody to create some kind of drama or just something. Like, you must have just been really, really fucking bored, bro, if I'm being honest with you. You know? I went to Star-Lord to a beer release party right before Halloween, just for shits and giggles. Had the mask, orb, gun, and all. This party had a heavy metal concert going at it, so it was packed with metalheads. It was awesome because these drunk metalheads just fucking treated me like I was Star-Lord, but it was also terrifying because these metalheads treated me like, they treated you like you were Star-Lord, but it was terrifying that they treated you like Star-Lord. Okay. I had pictures taken with a lot of people, and about every other photo, someone would do something fucked up, like grab my junk, ask to lick my gun, or tell me to look like I was choking them. It was weird. Totally worth it, though. Someone gave me free beer tickets. All right. I mean, I don't know why they would want to lick your gun or be choked by you, but maybe there's some Rule 34 Star-Lord shit out there that I don't know about or he doesn't know about. I don't know. Hey, do your thing, man. You know? Okay, shit. A little weird. All right, we're going to do two more. Someone grabbed my boobs. I'm a guy. Like, bruh. All right, man. Hey, shit. It is what it is. You know? I was cosplaying Fiona from Adventure Time, not Shrek. So the hot Fiona. And there was a guy that tried to take an upskirt photo while I was waiting in line. Loud public shaming is a lot of fun. Hey, you know, it is what it is. I mean, at least, you know, he didn't get dick and balls like the first guy. Oh my God. That one took me for a miss. I was like, oh, all right then. Yeah, man was really out there like that, you know? But that's going to go ahead and be it for that thread. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. Something a little different, you know what I mean? I've been trying to kind of get into different threads. You know, we do a lot of relationship threads, so I've been trying to get into different ones lately for you guys. Mix it up, change it up a little bit, keep it fresh for you guys. But yeah, that's going to be that thread. I'm going to go ahead and head into announcements, get that out of the way really quick, and then we'll go ahead and hop into today's episode. So, patreon.com/MyAssholePodcast. If you want to get onto the Patreon, $3 a month, get you an exclusive episode every single Friday, as well as being able to send in your scenarios to be featured on Tuesday and Sunday shows, as well as on the Friday shows too. I always do some Patreon submitted stuff there on Fridays as well, but I try to do the more Patreon submitted stuff on the free episodes, so that way, you know, more people can see them. But sometimes I'll do them on the Friday episodes. So especially the free Patreon episodes, especially like the one for April that we had coming up. So let's see, TikTok and Instagram, follow us over there if you guys want to get bite-sized pieces of the show. You want to get the best parts. There are some clips on Instagram that are not on TikTok. I got a lot of comments about this because they were wondering, like, are you doing different clips on Instagram than you are on TikTok? Yes and no. I'm doing it because TikTok will sometimes remove the sounds, or they don't like what's going on in the scenario, or it's too sexualized, or whatever it may be. TikTok won't like it, but Instagram will. So yeah, that's why I say follow me on both, because sometimes you will get scenarios on or clips on Instagram that you do not get on TikTok. So that's why I say follow us on both. That way you'll get all the clips, you know what I mean, so on and so forth. But it is what it is. Why they do that, I don't know. It just is what it is. So yes, follow us on Instagram, TikTok. We're killing it over there on TikTok still. Thank you guys so much, man. We're at like 5,200, maybe 5,300 followers. So thank you guys for all that support, man. I appreciate you guys. The road to 10K is looking strong, man. Looking strong. I'm hoping to hit 10K by June. That would be awesome if we could do that. And if you want to help on the free 99 side, even more of things, if you are an audio listener, go ahead and rate the podcast as well as keep downloading. That helps out a lot, man. Rating the podcast helps a lot, as well as following or downloading the podcast on there. It lets me know that you guys are enjoying the episodes and that you guys are coming back for more. If you want to help even more on the free 99 side of things, youtube.com/MyThat'sAPodcast. Get on the YouTube, follow or subscribe there. Hit that subscribe button, and it does help a lot. Even if you don't watch over there, even if you're mainly a audio listener, just going over there, hitting subscribe helps a lot. All right, appreciate that. And back to the show. We have our first scenario. Husband cheated on me. Oh man. Let's get to it. So, am I overreacting? So I've been with my husband for about 10 years, 25 female, have kids, and although, and all throughout our relationship, he's been cheating. I always thought it was emotionally, but found out recently he had physically done things a few times while we were together. When we only had a kid. Okay, so when they only had, I guess, one kid is when this was happening. But apparently it was pre-marriage. Each time I would stay and try to work things, especially for the sake of our kids, and also because I love him, I start off having high guards and then slowly let them down and start to think he's different / change, only to find he didn't change and continue cheating. This happened continuously during the entirety of our marriage, throughout all 3 pregnancies, etc., until now, when I found out just a few weeks ago going through his phone. In the past, he would hit up other people. I found out recently he had fake accounts and was sexting and receiving nudes from other women, paying girls on OnlyFans, and had porn subscriptions. This spanned throughout the pregnancies and marriage till now, which has taken a huge toll on me and really traumatized me. I feel so betrayed. He also has a cuckolding fetish, and in the past, pre-kids coerced me into performing and having sexual encounters with his colleagues despite knowing how uncomfortable I felt. But I wanted him to love me so badly. I would be so submissive and do everything he wanted, thinking I was in love. Thinking he was in love. Okay. Every time he would be intimate, he would want to take photos and videos of me and would reassure me that it was just for him to jerk off to, or that he just wants other guys to sleep with me and enjoy me because I'm so good. What? Or try to justify why he needed to take pics, etc. of me so he has something to look at and jerk off to, etc. But I found out he had catfished people we know pretending to be me and sent them my nudes he took, etc. to fulfill his cuckold fetish and get off on. I really feel clueless, but also violated because this guy is my first serious relationship, and not only are we married, but I have multiple children to him. He insists that it's just a personal problem he has and nothing to do with me, and that I shouldn't make myself at the center of it, but I really struggle to cope with this, to process and navigate this whole situation. Please help. Girl, you need to go. What the fuck? Yo, this man is outrageously weird. Like, okay, the cheating thing, look, I get it. that happens and you stuck around, and that's your choice. If you want to stick around, and you look at it like, well, the cheating is just sexual, and he has no feelings for these women and whatever, and you feel comfortable to stay and make things work, that's your choice. You do what you want to do. But as far as the whole cuckolding thing, now look, man, what in the hell? So you're telling me that you love him so much that when he told you to be intimate with his colleagues, you did it? He was just like, oh, babe. Oh, it'd be so hot if you go ahead and do it with George over here. You know what I mean? And then tell me about it later or something like that. And then when they're intimate, he's like, oh, I want to take pictures of you, to have, stuff, have it as a spank bank or whatever. Then he uses those pictures to catfish other guys into thinking that they have a relationship with his wife. Like, bro, what the fuck is going on? This is crazy, girl. You need to run. You need to take them children's and you need to run. This is not a normal relationship. I'm sorry, sweetheart. This is not normal. Like, look, like I said, as far as the cheating thing, you already clarified that, it's not a emotional thing for him or whatever. He's not having relationships with these girls. He's just having sex with them. It is what it is. And you're okay with that. You're like, look, I can make the relationship work. That's fine. And you accepted that. But as far as the cuckolding shit, like him having you sleep with other dudes, him catfishing people with, your pictures, sending them your nudes, like, bruh, that is just weird beyond belief. Like, there are guys out there that have naked pictures of you thinking that they're in a relationship with you, and this dude is just getting off to this shit. Like, no, sweetheart, this is not a real relationship. This is not normal. This is nothing you should be in. You need to go. Girl, you need to go. I'm telling you, you needs to go. And as far as you can, this guy is crazy. I mean, if you want to stay with this dude, that's on you, but I would say go. You asked for help at the end. You said, please help. All right, I'm going to help you out. Get the fuck out of there because what in the hell is going, like, oh, yeah, man. Yeah, you just need to go. You just need to go, all right? You need to go. That's crazy. That's crazy, man. Okay. Woo! Let me know what you think about that one in the man. I mean, I thought this was just an ordinary cheating story. Golly, that was deeper than I thought it was. God damn. All right. On to the next one. Am I the asshole for not letting my friend have a girl stay over at my place? I, 25, lived in a studio apartment. I have a buddy who is doing grad school part-time, and he has been struggling financially. So because he has only 2 classes for 2 days per week, they're back to back, I let him stay with me. He sleeps in my room on an inflatable mattress, and that was fine for a semester and a half. I don't charge him anything, but he buys me breakfast or coffee and is totally fine by me. It's nice to have company and we get along well. Then this girl comes into the equation. He actually met her through me. I'm in the same department as her, and I brought him along to a social event and they hit it off. This is not anything new because he pulled the same moves on another girl I know and it didn't work out. Anyway, they were going on a few dates here and there, but it was nothing serious. Then, a few weeks later, I suggest a little gathering at my place with some friends, including him, but not her. I only have a small place, so she's not a close friend, but at last minute, he asked if I could invite her. And I was a bit reluctant, but I knew he was into her, so I said sure. I knew she was in town soon to move into a new apartment, so I figured it was because of that. Turns out, no, she was not in town, but traveled like an hour and a half to attend, which I did not find out until later. Anyway, it was all fine, although they kind of ignored everyone and just sat in the corner giggling to each other, which was awkward. Then it was time for everyone to leave. He asked if she could stay in the room with us. He said that he figured that she could just stay with us because he was staying there and he liked her. I was fuming because, first of all, I have one room and they're already all over each other and I do not want to be around that. Facts. But it also felt like so calculated and sneaky. He clearly knew that he was going to ask me this whole time, but didn't. He then tried to make me feel bad for her by saying she didn't have all her stuff moved into her apartment. I said that was unfortunately her problem. They then left to go to her apartment, which didn't have much bedding, but was fine. I have been cordial, but things have naturally been frosty since. Okay. I feel like he took advantage of my kindness, but at the same time, I know he likes her, so I feel a bit bad. They are official now, so clearly things worked out, but am I the asshole? No, because I wouldn't want to hear you guys have sex either. You know what I mean? Like, let's be honest here, dude. I have a studio apartment. It's a small place. You and I sleeping, in my room is already kind of cramped. I already know you guys are trying to fuck, so I'm not trying to hear that. This is my place. And I graciously let you stay here for free, when you were taking your classes and so on and so forth. So, if I'm being honest with you, it's like, look, man, if you want to go fuck and do all that, you can go get a hotel room or you can go somewhere else to go do that. If you need a place to crash, whatever, cool. Like, if I knew, you guys were actually just going to sleep and that was that, cool. But nah, he's like, you guys have been in the corner giggling all day. You guys are all over each other. You guys are trying to fuck. I get it. That's totally fine. And you guys can do that. But you ain't gonna do that next to me. That ain't about to happen, man. We ain't about to be doing all that. I ain't trying to hear all that. And, I ain't trying to hear you clap cheeks and all. Nah, man. You got to go somewhere and do that. So, no, you are not the asshole for that because even I wouldn't want to hear my friend clapping cheeks right next to me in my bed. Like, that's, nah, man. Nah. Nah. Look, like I said, if it was a thing where he had maybe like a 1-bedroom apartment and he kind of had his own room and then he had like a living room separate to that, sure, I'd like, go ahead, man, just lay a towel down on my fucking couch, or something like that. But nah, not if I got a studio apartment and it's that small and cramped and all that. Nah, I'm good. Nah, man. So nah, I don't think you're the asshole at all. All right, on to our next one. Am I the asshole for dumping my girlfriend after moving in with her? Holy shit. Okay. I, 25 male, moved in with my girlfriend, 24 female, 4 years, 3 weeks ago. She chose the place, and although her name is on the lease, I paid half of the deposit and paid for the first month's of rent as she couldn't afford it. I also paid for the first month of bills. She works part-time and has some savings she used to furnish the place according to her taste despite my objections. I feel she overspent all the money, could have been better spent on other things. She had a few friends over Monday when I came home. She ordered food and as normally come home from work at 5, she was surprised to see me there an hour early. They were a little drunk and one of her friends made strange comments, which I thought nothing of due to the alcohol, and I went to the bathroom to shower. When I came out from the shower, her other friends and sister was quoting me poetry that I had written to my girlfriend and was quite handsy. I found it odd and asked her where she heard that. She goes, "We just read your love letters to her before watching a movie." My girlfriend was laughing with them. Her sister made a remark about how she wanted me to do her the way I do her sister because she had never felt that way. I was furious, but due to her drunkenness, thought it was impossible to talk to her. Okay. I left for my mom's house. On Tuesday, she called me 17 times, but I ignored it. She also sent many texts wanting to know why I wasn't home. On Wednesday, I told her in person how hurt I was for her sharing my intimate letters with her friends. I overshared what we do in private. She said, relax, it was a joke and nobody got hurt. She said the girls were impressed with me and that is why they got a little handsy. She said once I gave her the letters, they were hers to share with whom she pleased. So I told her that I am my own person and can make the decisions to not share more of myself with her. Today, she came to my mom's apologizing. She wanted me to come back and talk it out with her. I told her no and that we were through. She wouldn't leave, so I drove to my father's place where I am now. She kept texting me and telling me that I should be ashamed of myself for leaving her like that. She got her friends and sister to apologize to me, and they told me to quit playing games and go home now that they had apologized. I told them I was home. I told them I was home and that as my name was not on the lease and I wasn't respected as an equal in her home, I no longer wanted to be with her. Luckily for me, I hadn't moved most of my stuff there, so kept phoning and texting. I block her. Then she made a mutual male friend of ours contact me and tell me that I was being a bitch about it. So I blocked him too. Then his girlfriend texted me and told me not to take things out of proportion. I am almost certain I did the right thing, but maybe I should talk it out with her before cutting all contact. Yeah, you should have. I mean, dude, honestly, this is something that could have been figured out with a fucking conversation. You kind of went a little too far, if I'm being honest with you, because look, I get it. You were embarrassed. Maybe it was a little embarrassing, or maybe it was a little too much, or whatever the case may be. But you could have just had a conversation with her. She apologized about it. The friends apologized. And, that's that. You could have easily just been like, look, man, I just didn't like that you shared that. That wasn't cool. She could have just like, I'm sorry, I didn't know, that's how you would feel about it, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, nah, it's cool. And you're all good. Why you're overblowing this and taking it way out of proportion, I don't know. As if you feel like she needs to have some consequence to what she did. You know what I mean? I mean, if I'm being honest with you, the consequence enough is just the fact that you were pissed off at that and that made you mad. That should enough be like, oh shit, to her, be like, oh man, I'm sorry. I didn't know that was going to go that way. I didn't know you were going to feel that way about it. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Yeah, and that's what I would have done. I would have I'd have been upset and mad or whatever. And I would have taken it all the way up until she said sorry, because it's like, dude, I shared those with you in confidence, and then you go and share it with everybody else. Look, I get it. I don't want to say proud, but you're happy, that I gave you those notes and that, they say great things and they make, you feel a certain way or whatever. And it was even looking good because that's what she was doing. She was boasting and bragging her man to her friends and stuff like that. And that embarrassed you a little bit. I get that and I understand. But at the same time, it's like, what did she really do wrong? Aside from share those notes. I get it. They're supposed to be intimate and all that kind of stuff. But, like I said, you could have talked to her about it. She could have been like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know. I didn't know that, you'd feel that way about it. Yeah. But I just don't get this whole, you feel like she needs to, suffer consequences for what she did. It just makes no sense. Are you the asshole? Yeah, you kind of are, dude. You kind of are the asshole. You should have just had a conversation with her. You guys could have talked it out and been like, look, I didn't like that you shared that shit. It wasn't cool. And, she could have apologized and that was that. You know what I mean? You wouldn't have to do all this shit. I don't know. I just think you're a little weird off that one, if I'm being honest with you. All right, on to our next one. I'm ending my 4-year relationship. Woo! So basically, the title, he, 33 male, says, I am 32 female, throwing away 4 years over a mistake he made. To keep it short, on 4 different occasions over the last 2.5 years, he's gone drinking and come home to throw a drunken tantrum because I said the wrong thing. Something happened at the bar, or I put my foot down because he's drunk and yelling at me in front of our friends at the bar twice. I had to leave to my sister's house because he was going around our small apartment, slamming doors and banging his head on the walls. I've had to wake him up several times because he falls asleep on the toilet or the bathroom floor, and he had to sleep in his car because of his outbursts. On the second time this happened, he gave me his word that he would be more responsible with his drinking and that he wouldn't have any more outbursts. He said that he was gonna drink waters between each beer or have sodas and bar food and just one beer. The third time, I made it clear that him going back on his word was unacceptable because it shows that he doesn't care, that he becomes emotionally and verbally abusive towards me. I told him I was tired of his apologies and he's gonna keep doing the same thing. Between all these times, he has continued to get drunk on the weekends, but I've kept my mouth shut to avoid him having an outburst, and things were relatively okay. This last time he went and got drunk at the bar, didn't eat anything, refused the water my sister offered him because she's aware of the argument we had, and when I arrived, he yelled at me because he was too drunk to have track of what team he was on, and he misunderstood me when I told him he made the wrong shot. We went to get food from a local taco spot and he couldn't even stand because he was so drunk. I had to pull over on the freeway because he needed to throw up, and when we got home, he fell asleep in the bathroom and I had to wake him up 3 times. I kept my anger about the situation to myself because the sadness of feeling like I needed to leave him because he's just not willing to change is overwhelming. The next morning, he could tell something was up and he asked if I was okay. I said that I wasn't ready to talk, but he insisted, so I told him that he went back on his word again about drinking irresponsibly, and that I realized that the only way I was going to avoid this verbal abuse was if I kept quiet. I told him what I told my ex when I was thinking about leaving. It's not anything I haven't told you already. He left it at that in the morning, and at night I was crying because I was upset that 4 years of my life were going down the drain, and I just folded and asked him why I wasn't good enough for him to want to do better. He then started to say that I had fault in our relationship ending, ignoring that the only reason I'm leaving is because I can't keep giving him chances to verbally abuse me when he's drunk and angry. I reminded him that he had given me his word and that he had gone back on it twice. He seemed to understand, but the next day he just kept saying that he deserves to unwind on the weekends because he works all week to provide for us, not like I have a job, and constantly sending him money because he overspends and his account will overdraft when the phone or internet bill charges his account. I was getting whiplash from how quickly he was going from being apologetic about going back on his word and him insisting that I'm being unreasonable and unfair. I slept at my sister's house again because I couldn't keep dealing with it, and I was just really emotionally exhausted from all of it. Now he posted on his Facebook that I'm throwing away 40,000 hours of lives together for 12 bad hours. So I'm asking, am I overreacting? No, you're not overreacting, because if I'm being honest with you, dude's got a habit. You know what I mean? And you don't want to date a guy that has bad habits, and you really don't want to marry a guy who's got these habits, because that verbal abuse can turn into physical, and then, before you know it, it's like it's getting worse and worse. The cops are called and all this kind of stuff. And then it's just a revolving cycle over and over and over again. Now, my biggest thing is you were in the wrong just for letting it continue. You should have been left homeboy, if I'm being honest with you. I get it. You love him and you care about him and you think he's going to change and all this kind of stuff. Ladies, you got to understand, once guys have really bad habits, a lot of times you're not going to be able to change it. You know, you're just not. And that's just the way it goes. You know, a lot of these guys have really shitty habits, and because she even said, oh, you know, it sucks that I'm not enough for you to want to change. And it's like, look, man, it's just not going to change because of you. It has to be something else that goes on that really makes him change. And it's just the way it is. A relationship ain't gonna make him change for nothing, you know, and you're still there. So he looks at it like, it's not that big of a deal. You're still here. So I don't have to change, you know what I mean? But you should have been left, because then that would have changed a while ago. You know, you would have seen a huge change if the second time you'd have been like, dude, I already told you twice. Like, I'm done with this, man. You're yelling at me. You're doing all this and that. You know, keep lying to me. I have to give you fucking money, you know what I mean? Because every time we go out or whatever, or you go out too much and you're bad with finances, all this kind of stuff. So it's like, not only are you bad with finances, you can't really hold a promise. You can't really, hold on. You're bad with money. You can't hold a promise. And, there was a third thing and I lost it, you know? And you're getting like very verbally abusive. It's like, dude, these things are just going to lead to a shitty relationship and possibly a shitty marriage. Like, you should have been left, if I'm being honest with you. Are you overreacting to it? Nah, not at all. You know what I mean? Because this relationship just wasn't going to last, if I'm being honest with you. It just wasn't. It sucks to say that, and it sucks to know that, because, you know, you love them, you care about them, you wanted this relationship to work. It's why you gave them fucking 4 chances. And, you know, I get it. You look at it like, oh man, I'm throwing away 4 years, and it does suck. It happens, you know, it does. But at the same time, it's like, you let 4 years go by, you know, when this should have been stopped a long time ago. You should have stopped and smelled the roses a lot, you know, sooner, because sometimes it's like we put the love blinders on, you know, and we walking around like Ray Charles thinking love is going to save everything. And it's just like, it's not. You know, it's just not, man. You out here thinking that it's gonna, you know, it's gonna change and something's gonna get better, but it just doesn't. It just doesn't. It sucks, but it is what it is, and that's just the sad truth about, you know, being with a person. Sometimes it's like when they have bad habits, sure, you know, they'll change them for a time being, but the moment they get back to them, you know, it's you know, it's gonna be a cycle at that point. So, you know. All right, let's get into our last scenario for today's episode. Am I wrong for being upset that my girlfriend told me she's slept with guys with bigger dicks than me? All right, man. Let's see. I'm not particularly insecure about my size. I'm nothing special, but nothing to be ashamed of. I don't know too much about my girlfriend's sexual history, but realistically, just by assuming she slept with a decent number of guys, I can assume by the law of averages that I'm probably not the biggest she's had. Still, when it came up in a admittedly drunken conversation, she quite casually said, "Of course I've had bigger, but that's not a bad thing." Yes, of course, she went on to reassure me that sex with me is the best it's ever been. But all that stuff, hold on. But of course she went on to reassure me that sex with me is the best it's ever been, and all that stuff, everything you'd expect from a loving girlfriend. So I really don't want to be mad at her for it, because I can tell she actually did not mean it as a bad thing. Am I being ridiculously insecure for feeling upset anyway? I mean, look, man. A lot of guys love doing this shit. Like, they love comparing themselves to a girl's ex. Nigga, who cares? Who cares? She's with you, man. Like, some guys get so in their head about shit. And it's like, my guy, guys need to start realizing relationships with women are a a come and go thing. You know what I mean? Now, do you strive to have that person be like your forever person? 100%. But guys need to nowadays be okay with like, you know, if my girl leaves, okay, it is what it is, man. Like a lot of guys get this fucking tunnel vision where they're like, oh my God, there's only one girl in the whole entire world that'll ever want to be with me, that'll ever love me in this entire, and it's like, bro, there are millions of girls out there. You know what I mean? Like you'll find another one if she's not the one for you. But you're over here self-sabotaging yourself over nothing. You know what I mean? Over nothing. Look, who cares if homeboy before you had a 12-inch schlong? Like, it doesn't matter. The thing is that she's dating you. Now, I get it. You look at it like, oh, man, you know, that means she doesn't enjoy sex with me as much. Not really, nigga, because if I'm being honest with you, I would argue 80% of sex for a woman is all up here, bro. It's all up here. It's all emotions and how she sees you and how you are to her, all that kind of stuff. 20% of it is physical for women. And that's why you see these fat slobby niggas and then, you know, girls talking about dad bods are hot. I would say he's got more of a silver tongue than anything. It makes her feel certain ways, makes her, he says certain things, you know what I mean, that make her feel special and feel this way and blah, blah, blah. And of course, he might have other things set in motion. You know, he may, you know, have his own house and a nice car or whatever. And, you know, he may be financially stable, whatever the case may be. But, you know, that's why you see like these super gorgeous women with like these goofy dudes. And you're just like, how the fuck did that guy get that girl? Because if I'm being honest with you, with women, it's 80% up here. It just is. And that's just the way it is. Like for us guys, it's the other way around. All right. It's 80% visual for us. And then 20% is, you know, the other bullshit, you know, like, yeah, just her personality and, you know, her interests and what she likes and her favorite food and all that kind of stuff. That's just the way it is. And that's how we're different. And so it's like, as long as you got her up here, you know, and she finds you attractive, she's all about you, she loves you, she cares about you, so on and so forth, it doesn't really matter. I mean, the last guy could have been super buff with 6-pack abs, and then you could be, you know, in shape, but not as, you know, buff or whatever. But as long as you're making her feel like she's important, as long as you're making her feel like she's loved and cared about and all this kind of stuff, and she's special and all this, you got her. You're good. And if she decides to leave you for whatever reason, you just tell her it was nice knowing you. You know what I mean? And you let her move on and you just say peace and chicken grease because it's just not worth your time as a guy. You know, it's going to hurt and it's going to suck and it's going to make you feel like, oh, you know, you're going to be all in your feels, sure. But it's like, dude, getting insecure over a girl is such a waste of your time as a guy, if I'm being honest with you. You know, it's just one of those things where it's like, dude, it's just a waste of your time. When you could easily just enjoy being with the girl, you know, she's having sex with you as long as she ain't cheating on you and stuff like that. I don't see why bring this up or why be insecure about it. I don't see the point. I really don't. I don't see the point being insecure and comparing yourself to other guys. Now, if she's the one that's comparing you, now if she's over here just like, oh my God, you know, my ex used to do this, you know, and you don't do that, or oh, you do this, but my ex didn't do that. Now that's when you kind of have the conversation of just like, what the fuck is going on? Why do you keep comparing me about it? You know, I'd get a little questiony about that because then that makes me think like, okay, now you sizing me up. What the fuck is going on here? You know, you still got feelings for that nigga. You guys still talk. You guys are friends, you know, like what's really going on with that? Because that raises a red flag more than you just comparing yourself to other guys and then her being like, what the hell? No, I'm da-da-da. So that's how I feel about that. I think you're overreacting and I think you should just get that shit out of your mind. Stop comparing yourself to her exes and whatnot. And just enjoy being with her, man. And if she doesn't, you know, want to be with you and she leaves you for whatever reason, whatever, you know, you move on, man. And you start your self-improvement arc, you know, like it's too much. I don't know why guys get that in their head so much. It's like, dude, you know, you chose to be with her. You know what I mean? Like, you should have known the type of sexual past she had before getting with her. Like, that's something you kind of find out, you know, through her actions and through how you talk to her and all that kind of stuff, you know. But I think guys don't ask the real questions they want to know. And so then they're like a year, 2 years into the relationship, and then they start asking these questions and they find out, oh man, she was with Chad Thundercock and Tyrone and all this. And they're like, oh shit, what the fuck did I do? And the girl's just like, bro, you know, you knew this getting into the relationship with me. Like, what the fuck is going on here? You knew I was with Chad Thundercock and Tyrone. Like, come on now. You know what I mean? It looks stupid to the girl because she's like, bro, we've been in this relationship for 2 years and all of a sudden you want to bring this up and get upset at it now? Like, it sounds stupid, right? It kind of makes you feel like, oh, well, I mean, you know, damn, it kind of sounds dumb when you think about it, because it does. And it's like, dude, you kind of, in a way, you should have been asking that before you got into the relationship, but you didn't, and it is what it is. But that's just my 2 cents about it. You let me know what you think about that one in the comments, you know. But that's going to go ahead and end today's episode. Thank you guys for listening and watching. I appreciate you guys being here on these wild and wacky journeys as we go through these crazy threads as well as these crazy scenario stories. Again, patreon.com/Am I the Asshole Podcast. $3 a month gets you an exclusive episode every single Friday, as well as being able to send in your scenarios to be featured on the Tuesday and Sunday shows that we have. TikTok as well as Instagram. Get on there for the clips. Again, you know, get on the Instagram because sometimes we have clips that aren't on TikTok. So, you know, follow us there on both and then check them out. If you want to help on the free 99 side of things, you audio listeners, downloading as well as rating the podcast helps a ton. Thank you guys so much for doing it. For those who have done that, I appreciate you so much. 5 stars is preferable. And then if you want to help on even more of the free 99 side, youtube.com/Am I the Asshole Podcast, or click the link tree, go to YouTube and go ahead and subscribe there. It helps a lot, even if you don't listen over there. It's all good. Helps out. All right. That's going to be it for me. I love you guys and peace. My leg fell asleep and I'm trying to wake it up. So thank God the show is over, but peace.